In this video, we will see how to create a basic pod blueprint by looking at a simple use case that involves one management network and two container level networks. A basic pod blueprint includes VLAN resources, address resources, and NIC segments. One or more nodes will be presented to represent the hypervisor access switches or additional network devices that may be present in an environment. In this example, we will use one access switch which is residing on an hypervisor. We will create one management network at the pod level. We will also define two customer networks at the container level without a zone. Pod blueprint is basically an XML document that follows standard XML conventions. Pod blueprint is defined using the BNA data tag as the parent, which may have multiple child tags. To begin with, the first one that is used in the pod blueprint is the version tag to indicate the version of the BladeLogic network automation for which the blueprint was created. When a blueprint is created from the scratch, it may not have a version populated, but when the blueprint is exported, it will have the version of the BNA system from which the blueprint was exported. A blueprint has the name tag to indicate a unique name for the blueprint. In this example, since we have two networks, there are two VLAN pool blueprint definitions. One is for the management network and the other is for the customer network or data network used in the containers. There is also VLAN blueprint definition for the management network. We also have a NAT pool defined that may be used for the NAT purposes in the containers. Since one of our customer networks needs to derive the values for the address pool from the pod, we have an address range blueprint defined with a default pool mask and the range mask. The NIC segment definition at the pod level is defined here using the NIC segment blueprint schema. It has a name tag to indicate a unique NIC segment name for the pod. It has got a network name. It is associated with an address pool, a VLAN name, and the two distinct flags to indicate whether this NIC segment is of type management or customer. In this example, since this is a pod level network, we have defined the management flag as true and the customer flag as false. We have only one pod node defined here, which is the access switch 1, indicating it is a hypervisor switch blueprint, which has a port type blueprint defined that is connecting to the pod NIC segment named management NIC. It has got the name within switch, which is nothing but the port group name, and the port type to uniquely identify the port type within this given node. BladeLogic Network Automation, or in short BNA, provides utilities to handle pod and container blueprints. One of them is import-export utility, using which one could import pod and container blueprints into BNA, or could also export an existing pod and container blueprint for further modifications. In this example, I have used the import utility with the appropriate credentials and the parameters to import the newly created pod blueprint into BNA system. And the imported pod blueprint can be viewed from the pod blueprint section under the network tab. To create a new pod, click on the create pod button and provide the values as needed. And once the pod is created, you could onboard the pod in BMC Cloud Lifecycle Management or CLM using the onboard pod option available under Resources Workspace. Once the pod has been successfully onboarded in CLM, container blueprints could be imported and containers can be created. For this demonstration, I have exported the pod blueprint, which was just imported into BNA. And now you may notice that BNA has added the version details onto the exported pod blueprint, matching the version of BNA. You may also notice that the exported pod blueprint does not have any new additions that were added after the pod was created in BNA. It includes only those changes or the settings that were present in the original imported pod blueprint. Thank you for watching.